welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Today we'll be discussing none other than Gluto, the mighty, the magnificent, the guy who's just always in the background, sadly. Yes, Gluto himself from Power Rangers Timeforce. He is that character that you've always probably wondered what his purpose was in the entire series of Timeforce, and well, I'm here to explain that today, I think. Now, who is Gluto? Well, from the year 3000, he is a petty criminal that is caught by Timeforce for basically stealing stuff and was going to put into a sentence of unknown time period into like stasis for his crimes of petty crime, essentially. Now, he had no other connection to Rancid at this time other than the fact that he was a mutant, and that was kind of it. Now, what is he though? I mean, he's a mutant, but like, what is he? He's blue, he's fishy, some people are saying whale-like. Well, we don't know, in truth. Most of the mutants are all over the place with these different type of things. Growths, tentacles, and the like. Well, Gluto just looks like a big blue whale that can breathe air and doesn't need water to do anything. Now, we don't know anything else about his past besides that. So, it's kind of hard to make any estimates about what his powers are or his limitations as a mutant, because he doesn't get in any fights. The first time we see him is him being thrown into prison for petty crime, as I said, and then he's broken out immediately by Rancic and Adira, who he joins immediately and goes back in time with to the year 2000, trying to go make a better life for them in the year 3000, or just making sure that mutants rule the future later on. He doesn't really have any plans beyond this, and he's more of a coward. Immediately he starts crying as soon as he's about to be thrown in jail. So that is the way of things for Gluto. Now, when he gets back to the year 2000, things kind of don't change. He is just kind of is supposed to be the hired muscle, the enforcer behind things. That's kind of what his job position is. However, he doesn't really do anything. He never fights the Power Rangers. He never goes and steals anything. He kind of is in the background, involved, and he's just in the chilling, if anything. He eventually gets a top hat and the like. So either he steals that or he buys it. More likely he steals it, but I don't think he's going to go any place and buy anything looking like a blue whale. But he basically walks around in the background with his little minion guys and goes, this is nice. I can do this. But every time he sees the Power Rangers, he just leaves. Now, the only thing he really does throughout the entire series is provide the gag that he's in love with Nadira, and she does not care at all. She falls in love with several different characters throughout the series, some of them mutants, some of them not, some of them even Power Rangers, but none of them are, well, him. Gluto kind of doesn't really do anything about that. He tries to, he writes a note to her, he invites her to dinner, he does all these different things, and each time he's immediately rejected once she realizes that it's him asking. So that's kind of the issue with that. Now, after Frax's saga, he starts actually doing something. Yeah, after Frax has betrayed Rancic and builds his giant robot to destroy, well, the city and eventually Rancic, Gluto is the one who finds Frax and tells Rancic where he's at and turns him in. And that is kind of one of the big plays there, because Rancic grabs him, transforms Frax, reprograms him into a basically killer death bot for his service finally, and that's it. That's all that we get. So if he wasn't captured, he could have either killed them or still been out there plotting, and things would have been different. However, that didn't work out, because Gluto just stood there, turned him in, and then that was it. That was the end of basically Gluto's storyline, until the time vortex started going all haywire, and Gluto looks up at that and goes, nah, I'm done, and actively freezes himself, or miniaturizes himself into his mutant prisoner form, and just goes, they'll unfreeze me when they win, right? So he could claim that they put him in there and the like and be like totally safe. He thinks that's the safer aspect of, rather than just staying out, getting caught in the crossfire, or being sucked into a black hole or a time vortex thing. But here's the thing. No one knows he did that. And he's not brought up again. Like, no one talks about him. is he left behind? And there's a theory that he is left behind in the year 2000. Now, however, he did this in the prison, and what was they took the prison back to the future, but they don't see him. You don't see his little figure anywhere. They see a bunch of other ones, but they don't see his figure. So anywhere, he could be in the year 2000 being played with like a doll, because that's what they're kind of like look like a little bit, by some kid or in some attic at this point. And Gluto just been there the entire time contemplating his life choice of being frozen down. Like, I think that'd be funny. I think that'd be a great storyline. Then they could have brought him back and be like, "Yep, Gluto never actually went back, guys." And he's so forgettable by the Rangers that, yeah, they would have been like, "Oh yeah, he was destroyed" or something like that. And then he's just stuck in his little form forever, being played around by a child. Now, more than likely, guys, he is been brought back to the year 3000 because they did take the entire prison with him. But there's a lot of jarring. Gravity got a little messed up there. Let's just think about that. What if he did? That'd be a better storyline, don't you guys think? But other than that, that is the storyline of Gluto. He's not brought back again. He didn't have a full storyline like Rancic, Nadira, or Frax himself. He's just there. Now, he is voiced for the mighty and magnificent Neil Kaplan, who voiced Madara from Naruto and a heap of other characters, and Diabolico, additionally, in the series before. But that's it. We don't see anything else beyond that. And I would have actually really loved it if he did get brought back. Like, if they did have some more connections going on there. If he would have gone and done more, like, give him a storyline from petty criminal to, like, maybe he sacrificed himself later on for Nadira to help her get this thing and save from things, and he gets thrown in the time vortex and she doesn't. That'd have been something really cool. And she would have been like, "Oh, he does care," but no, she had another true path to go on. And you know what? I can't take away from that path. That was a good path. Now, poor Gluto, the forgotten one, the guy who just stood in the background, who just was a petty criminal, who probably had a sentence of like a minor sentence of 6 months. I don't know. But now he's a much longer sentence of people forgotten about him entirely. Now, in the Sentai, he's a completely different storyline. He is the main character. Rancic isn't there. And he's the dawn of this entire crime family. But that's another story entirely. You see, they took the entire storyline that Rancic had, that was originally the Dawn's, and gave all to Rancic. And now a little bit differently, because Rancic was more combat-y in there, while the Dawn was more clever and always having manipulations of ways of making money. Now, they could have the same thing kind of with Gluto, but they didn't, because I think they were trying to do this, like, the clever character was Frax, who's playing in the background. He's always smart. He's emotional. They had to focus on saying, if you take Gluto out, it could have been like an entirely different storyline. Actually, it would have been the exact same storyline. If you take Gluto out entirely, there would have been no need for Gluto. Now, why did they put him in? And this is 100% fan theory why they put him in. But Timeforce is a very dark series comparatively. First episode, the Red Ranger is killed. Spoiler if you didn't know that. I'm sorry. There's just a bunch of different dark themes going on there. Emotional trauma, the whole all these different things are going on in the storyline. The world could possibly end on not just like villains taking over. I mean, like the world, like all of time could be devoured. All these different little darker themes going on there. So they needed a way for kids to not realize it is a very darker theme, and they put in a comedic character, and they made it towards the villains. They go, hey, the villains aren't so bad. Some of them are just dumb morons, such as Gluto. So that's the only theory, that he is just essentially the throwaway funny character there, and that was it. Because you had Rancic, the boss that he was. You have Nadira, who is a villainess, who provided some humor every once in a while with her harebrained schemes or her just need for things, that she's just kind of like a petty little girl. Frax, there was no humor behind him. The Rangers themselves had some humor here and there with their little tropes, but nothing like okay, that's pretty cool. They still get serious when it comes down to it, but Gluto never really got serious, and that was kind of sad. What is your guys' opinions on Gluto? Feel free to put down in the comments down below. Would you have seen him come back? Would you have liked that little toy figure, like a little kid playing with him the entire time, like a little Easter egg later on they could have used? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments down below. And we will be going on from there with more stuff on the future. Probably do a what if episode later this month. I got to figure out the exact one I want to work out that comes to mind and I can plan out and fix. But feel free to put any ideas down below in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and help me out, guys, with this channel. It really helps me, helps you, helps us all. Have a good one, and may the power protect you always.